Well, all right, you guys, check this out right here. What a pretty fish. And this fish is exactly the reason why I am falling in love with jig fishing. But not just any jig. Stick around, I'll tell you what I mean. So that was a nice 17-inch fish. Threw it right out over the top of a log and let it roll off the side and down, popped it a couple of times, and he hit it and took off with it. That is a whole lot of fun, and that is only the third fish I have ever caught on a jig. Welcome to Yakety Mac, guys. I will also tell you that is only the third time I have ever fished a jig. In fact, the first time I fished one was just a couple of weeks ago. Caught one fish there, and it was in a tournament last week, caught one, and now I'm out here today doing a little practicing and filming and caught another one. But I've always been hesitant to throw a jig. So this is your typical style of jig. Let me get up here close here so that you can see that. That is your typical style of jig. This is a mini jig here, but you see it's got the weed guard on it. There's a couple of issues that I have. I tried to throw one not knowing really what I was doing. I just tied on a jig with like a pork rind trailer and threw it out, and I kept getting hung up. And this weed guard, it does okay. It's better than nothing. But I just got hung up all the time and would lose a couple of jigs. And I tried it maybe for 15 minutes or so. And so I really just kind of gave up on the whole jig fishing idea. And then I saw an ad on Facebook, of all places, for Onecast Fishing. And they make a jig, and I'll show it to you here, with it's an offset extra wide gap, EWG hook, just like what you would use for Texas rig or something. And they've got a jig head on it here. And the way you are able to rig it up, because it's the offset extra wide gap is that you could rig it up with your trailer. I've got on here a Zoom Alabama Crawl. This is the green pumpkin colored jig from Onecast Fishing. And the way you're able to skin hook it, this thing comes through debris and weeds, stick-ups, excellent. If it ever does get kind of snagged up, it's just the head of it a little bit. So if you just drift to one side or the other, you're usually able to just shake it up out of there. I've not lost one yet. They're able to shake up out of there pretty easily. But because you rig it up like Texas rig, anything else, and bury the hook into the actual soft plastic trailer itself, they are fantastic. And so when I first saw that, I thought, now there's an idea for a jig. And so I ordered a couple of them. They also make a bladed jig, chatterbait, same concept. And caught my first ever fish on a chatterbait. Being able to throw it to where the fish are at is really, really cool. And so this is what the package, the other thing about this particular company is that, and I'll show you the package here. This right here is their, what's called peanut butter jelly color jig. I believe this here is 3/8 ounce. And this is an American-made product, veteran-owned. So that's cool as well. And I think there's something like $5.99 per jig, and then you can put whatever trailers you want on there. They sell a Warthog trailer that they recommend for using with these. I like the Alabama Crawl. They're a little bit smaller, so less intimidating for a smaller fish. The particular tournaments that I fish have a 10-inch limit, so I'm not necessarily aiming for those smaller fish. But I'll certainly take them as all inches add up when you're fishing in a tournament. So I like a little bit of the smaller profile of that Alabama Crawl on here. It's just a Zoom Crawl. You don't have to go with the Alabama Crawl. That Zoom makes several different ones, but it's the one that I like. And well, after all, I'm in Alabama. And so these Onecast fishing jigs, guys, are really fantastic. And what I love about jig fishing, if you've not done it, is that it combines the elements of like soft plastic Texas rig fishing, which I have really taken to heart here this year for the first time ever. But it does a couple of things. One, I've noticed that I've not been getting like the bluegill bites and that kind of stuff like I will on a worm when I'm throwing up into that. This doesn't seem to attract that style of fish, so I'm not getting my bait nibbled on by fish that I don't want nibbled. The other thing is that, and I don't know if it's because of the added weight, or if it's just the fact that you don't have a moving weight on there like you would with a bullet weight, but the sensitivity of these jigs is absolutely fantastic in that you feel every little branch. And so far, all three of the fish that I have caught, again, I've only been using this now for 2 weeks. This is only the third time I've used it. Has come as I've been ticking branches underneath. This gives you incredible feel for that. So as you feel it start to tick on a branch, you just continue to kind of shake it a little bit and let it fall over that branch. And that's when I've been getting hit. And so the sensitivity and the feel of this thing is absolutely fantastic. Now this is the pitching jig. They make a football head. So if you're somewhere with a little bit more of a rocky type area, and then they also make a punching jig, a swim jig. So I'm going to order a couple of the swim jigs, and I'm going to order some of the punching jigs, and I'm really excited. This is something that I think is going to open me up for some bigger fish. If you followed along in my tournaments with me, you know I'm the king of 10 to 12 inch bass. Since I've been using this jig, every bass that I have caught has been over 13 inches. That was the largest one at 17. The one I caught, the very first one I caught on it was like 14 and a half, and then the one I caught in the tournament was 13 and a half. And so I'm catching bigger fish with these jigs. Maybe it's luck, or maybe this is the style of bait bigger fish prefer. I do not know. I'm too new at this. But guys, check them out. I'm going to put the Onecast fishing link in the description below, and I'm going to continue to throw this around a little bit. I'll share some fish with you if I catch them. I love these jigs. I probably would not be fishing jig if it weren't for these jigs. So give them a look, guys. Well, all right, guys. So I'm going to call it a day here. I was only able to get the one fish on my Onecast fishing jig here. But, man, I am absolutely loving these things. I am loving jig fishing. So I can't wait for spring when the fish start feeding to see how crazy they go for these, especially that peanut butter and jelly one on there with this orange crawl. I think that's going to do really, really well. So I'm not affiliated with these guys in any way, shape, or form, but I'll leave their link in the description. Check them out. These are really cool. Got me excited for sure. Hey, look, if you're not a subscriber, I hope you'll subscribe, and at the very least, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up, that like button for me. Leave me a comment. Let me know, have you tried these jigs? What's your opinion of them? Or what type of jigs do you use, if any at all? And let me know. And let me know if you got an issue getting hung up all the time. With these here, it's not a problem. Appreciate it, y'all. Share this video if you feel so inclined. And hey, look, no matter what you've got going on in your life, I hope you'll always take some time to get outside and play.